Welcome to Red Effects, the place for newbies, indies, as well as low budgeters. And as you guys might have seen on the channel, there's a brand new short film up. Well, I'm calling them Red Effects short films since they're not really like my normal short films, but they kind of are. That's why they're in their own category. Anyway, guys, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out right here on that link up there. It's pretty cool. At least I think it's pretty cool, and Ned does too. He's standing over there in the darkness. It's cool, right, Ned? He's flipping me off right now. Real mature. Anyway, that short film ties into this episode, which is of course the Red Effects Season 2 finale. And to celebrate this illustrious occasion, we're tackling a very creepy, scary, and huge effect. Yep, what was that? You got that right. Zombies. Now usually zombies are quite expensive to do, whether you go the traditional route, which is using makeup and actors acting out the movements, or even 3D models, which can look a bit on the fake side and also cost a lot of money. Until today, my friends, because we have teamed up once again with our good pals over at Production Crate, who have created some stunning zombie assets. And by stunning, I do mean gruesome, disgusting, and amazing. These are real actors in high quality 4K definition with a crisp, clean, pre-keyed image. Like, what more do you want? There are tons available to download right now, including some free ones, so head to the link in the description and get yourself some assets of the zombie kind. But you can grab whatever you want also. I mean, who am I to judge you? Let's talk about footage. All I've got to say about footage is that I shot mine. That's it. Now you can go handheld, although that would mean that you have to track your zombies onto your footage, and since Hitfilm Express doesn't have access to Mocha, which is a planar 3D tracker, it would be pretty hard. I would much prefer to add the motion in afterwards, as it'll be much easier and save you a lot of time and a lot of effort. But once you've shot your footage, head to the link in the description, download some zombie assets, import all of that into Hitfilm Express, and I'll see you there. Here we are back in Hitfilm Express for the last time this season. Wow. Anyway, let's get cracking. So I've got my footage here as well as my preferred zombie asset imported and waiting quietly in the media panel. Quite unlike him to be so silent actually. Now before all the chaos starts and we zombify the footage, I do want to show you that I have color corrected my footage already. There are some brightness and contrast adjustments, hue and saturation, pretty standard things, but I do recommend that you do all your basic corrections before you start compositing the zombie footage or any VFX elements for that matter. It gives you a better understanding of where you're going to end up and lets you blend the external assets much more convincingly. After that, you can add your final custom grade on top of your footage and assets to further lock the blending down. But with that out of the way, let's get started. The first thing to do, of course, is drag my zombie asset into the timeline. I'll then click this box and turn it into a 3D layer, which will automatically create a camera as well. This next part is a bit of a play. What you want to do is find an object in your scene that will be ideal for you to use to match the zombie's height to. For me, it's this gate in the background. So let's push our zombie back in 3D space using the position controls until it sort of matches up with the height of the gate. For example, what height would an average person walking through that gate be? Find that and match it. Once again, you can use any object in your scene, it doesn't have to be a gate. What we've basically done is given ourselves a good starting point. From here we can adjust the zombie in 3D space using the same controls and move it wherever we like. Once you're happy with the placement, you can further adjust settings like scale and subtle rotation modifications just by eyeballing it. Right, onto the main event. Color and tone matching. I know, it sounds scary, it sounds like it's difficult, but trust me, it's not. So the first thing I'm going to do is match the different color channels, but instead of using the curves effect like we always do, we're going to use the levels effect for a change. Let's head up to the effects panel, open color correction and drag the levels effect onto our zombie layer. Here we're going to use a different technique for color matching. It's pretty common, but I haven't shown it before. First, let's adjust the black and white points. I'll drag the black marker to the right until we meet the spike, which is where all the dark color info in our image is located. Then I'll drag the white marker left until it matches the brightness of our scene. We can't go all the way as it would be way too bright, but we can increase it slightly. My zombie is standing in a harsh bit of sunlight. We can see this by the defined and strong shadow lines, so therefore it needs to be pretty bright. Here looks good. Although, like some of the other zombies in the sketch, if it was in the shadows, we would decrease this. You basically want to match the amount of light in the asset's immediate surroundings. Okay, now let's get to that technique. First, we'll head up and click this box that says RGB and select the red channel. Don't be alarmed if you suddenly have a noir film, it's supposed to happen that way. What we've done is chosen to display a certain color channel. Right now, it's the red. To match that, let's do the same in our levels controls and select the red channel. Here you want to match the brightest part of the assets to the brightest parts in your footage, and the same with the darker sections to an extent. Let's drag the white marker left until it looks good. There we go. Then the same for the black. Again, don't go overboard with this. In essence, we're matching the color tones in a more precise way than by just eyeballing it. Most of the time we'll have to make subtle adjustments. So let's do the same for the green channel. Select it up top, and then again in the levels controls. And match the dark and bright spots as close as you can get it without losing detail or blowing out the image. Finally, we'll do it again for the blue channel. Right, let's set the channel up top, back to RGB, and if I turn the effect off and on again, you can see the difference. Whew, let's move on. The next effect I'll drag on is our good old pal curves. Here, all I'm going to do is add a tinge more contrast. But that's a personal preference. Then we'll drop on the color temperature effect. This zombie looks a bit too orange for my liking, so I'll drag the slider slightly to the right to cool it off a bit. There, looks good. His shirt is now looking like its original color again. Next up is the hue, saturation and lightness effect. All we've got to do here is drop down the master controls and desaturate the zombie a bit. I'll leave mine at about -25. Okay, final adjustment to the zombie and we're good on that end. This clip is really high quality to the extent that it looks too sharp to be in my scene compared to the footage that I've shot. So to fix that, we have to match the two clips' blur levels. For this, I'll head to the effects panel, blurs, and apply a lens blur to my zombie layer. Right off the bat, we have way too much blur, so I'll drop that down to 6 for my shot. Okay, our final step is to warm up the color of my original footage just a bit to meet the zombie's color adjustments halfway and tie all of it together. So let's drag on the color temperature effect and just subtly slide that bar left to warm it up a bit. Just a bit. There we go, all done. Before we wrap this up guys, I just want to quickly go over the trampoline zombie and the zombie that walks past the camera in the next shot. For the zombie inside the trampoline, I did the same color adjustments and 3D placement, although I racked up the blur amount a bit more since it's far off and more out of focus. I also duplicated my footage and then masked out the beam directly in front of the zombie with some slight feathering. To further sell it, I masked out the net on both sides as well, heavily feathering it and dropping the opacity down so it became translucent and net-like. Kind of a cheat actually, but hey, it works. For the next shot of the zombie passing the window, I placed it in 3D, scaled it to the appropriate size and color matched it just like before. Then I duplicated it, scaled it down and placed it over the window roughly in the right place a deflection would be. With the duplicate layer selected, I masked out the individual windows and feathered those masks ever so slightly. Finally, I dropped the opacity low so it would blend in with the other deflections and not stand out so much. But that's it, those are the steps for compositing pre-keyed zombie assets into your films. So follow all those steps, aim for the head, become a crossbow holding badass and give Lucille a nice big kiss, and you should end up with something that looks a bit like this. And that's how you composite pre-keyed zombie assets into your films. Or any pre-keyed assets actually. Once again, I want to say a big thank you to the fine people over at Production Crate. They've supported this channel on multiple occasions and they really do have some of the best assets online. Therefore, I highly recommend you checking out their website down below, as well as their YouTube channel and social media pages. So check that out, give them some love, tell them I sent you, because why wouldn't you? And that's it guys, season 2 all wrapped up. I know I kind of jumped the gun with doing all the spooky Halloween lighting and everything since it's only September, but hey, you can always watch this again in October and like it again and subscribe again. Actually no, just subscribe once. But yes, it's been a fun ride guys. I've enjoyed season 2 very much, as well as season 1, and it's really sad that it's coming to an end. We've had some great memories and I will always appreciate you guys subscribing and liking it, and it's just so sad that it's over. I'm kidding, there'll be a season 3. As always guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please leave a like down below, as well as subscribe right down underneath me right over there. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this season as much as I have enjoyed making it. But until season 3 comes around, I will see you in the next video.